This is kind of obscure, and I don't know if you're gonna know a ton about it, but
If it's what you mentioned earlier, I had no idea what you said.
no,
So.
I think it's something else. You should know about it.
Me?
You know, most people, if you're on YouTube, know the channel Primitive Tech.
Yeah, primitive technology.
Primitive Technology.
Oh yeah, dude. Did
I'm
you
having
watch that
trouble-
video?
I'm having trouble with the name for the reason that why I'm bringing it up.
Dude, I watched like a half an hour video about this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Primitive Technology was the guy who we used to watch.
So
John Plant.
as far as I'm concerned, he's the original dude. He's the original one who went out and he started using like primitive
Technology,
and like essentially
Living
like
in the woods.
Blueprints, primitive blueprints to like, plant
he
crops.
built like a whole like hut.
Building
Just
huts.
went out there and like made the tools to do it.
Him alone, like he would upload a video and it would overnight get like 20 million views. Like he was murdering it.
What was the best part about it?
It was quiet.
Yeah, he
Dude,
didn't
there's no
speak.
speaking.
No
It was
speaking.
so cool.
And so if you're on YouTube nowadays, there are so many copycats of primitive technology. If you type in primitive and search channel by channel, there's like primitive tool show, primitive tech. I follow one called primitive survival tool. And dude, I'm starting to think the more that I watch the ones that are on the outside of other than the original, that they're all made by the same group of people, because the way that they shoot it, the people that they use in the videos, the way it's edited is all the same. And they have clearly taken his formula and just completely like injected it with steroids, where it's like, it's two guys. They look like they might be South Asian, like Indonesian or Filipino or something like that. And they all have a stick with a blade on the end. And the whole video is just them like digging fucking dirt and shit. And
So
I watched the one of the
did
guy
you-
that build like a pool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's what they do.
So did you watch? Are you bringing this up because of this video? What happened to primitive
I
technology?
didn't see this. This is just something
All right,
I'm
so I just
seeing.
texted it to you guys. I would
What did
recommend
happen?
watching it. It basically, like, he went into like, I don't know, hiding because of all of these other channels like copying his idea and doing shit.
So he was bummed out.
Apparently, he's been like, I think, trying to write a book. And I think he was supposed to get a TV show.
As he should. I mean, dude, he was the best.
Yeah, so he did an AMA, like talking about his or like somebody else facilitated an AMA or something like that. I don't remember the exact details. I watched this video last year. But like he was like, yeah, I'm fine. Kind of just like pandemic's been fucking me up. I haven't been doing anything. He's supposed to be working on a TV show. So, I mean, I'm glad that he was recognized for what he was doing.
He was the pioneer. And like it sucks because they just, I mean, I hate to say it, but they bastardized it. Like,
yeah, no, it's terrible, dude.
There's hundreds of channels now with Primitive as the first name, and another one. There's one called Mr. Hyung Update. And the funny thing about this is like, this guy, it's like the director's like, hey man, work as fast as you possibly can and like make it look like you're like in a rush. It's so bizarre.
Dude, so the one guy in that video I'm talking about, Jabroni, uploaded what happened to primitive technology. He was like, it's almost like they're faking them.
That was gonna be my next point.
Because he's like, you'll see them digging, and then all of a sudden it'll flash to a screen, and it looks like a fucking like backhoe just came in and scooped out the spot. Like,
I mean, well, the thing is like they'll be digging, and then they'll cut, and they're like 3 or 4 feet deeper into a hole, and you're like, that would have taken like the sun would have moved. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it would have taken them
a whole day, dude.
A crazy amount of time to dig like a 10 by 10 square, like 10 feet down. Like you can't do that in 3 hours.
I've seen
That's
holes.
an all day fucking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's an all day project.
But have you seen holes?
Oh yeah, I've seen Holes. Of course, great movie, great book.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like I've seen a
The
hole in the
no,
ground.
no,
I was
no.
like, yeah, I have too.
The movie, the book. I mean,
I've
dude,
seen the book.
Yeah, no, great, a great.
You know,
book,
Zero.
great movie.
All he did was dig, son.
Hey,
I read the movie.
I heard. I bet he eats the dirt.
He eats the dirt.
But
No,
I
but
was-
it's just stuff like, and the thing is, they're not using shovels.
Yeah,
they're using like sticks with blades on. It's
Yeah.
so bizarre.
I don't know, man.
He's a mole.
I feel like it's kind of sad because I did enjoy
eats
him, and
the
I
dirt.
get that.
I
But
think
that's
he eats the
that's
dirt.
what happens when there's a new, like trend or whatever. People
It just
fucking
gets
kill
ruined.
it. And
I'm
unfortunately,
so sad about it.
I feel like he did it for fun. I mean, that was his whole thing. He said on his
Yeah.
bio is like he just goes out in the bush.
He's
like,
Australian, right?
It's like New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay, I was never sure. I always like for the first 3 months, I was like, he's Brazilian.
No, all right, let's go to the about. It is
I don't know. If it says.
North Queensland, Australia.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is Australian.
it is Australia.
But yeah, he was just like going out basically and just having fun. And I would like to think that there are channels that came up that were like, oh, I also do things like this. you
Yeah, I
know?
just didn't post it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when we were younger, we'd fuck around and build like terrible forts in the woods,
Little
and I could
teepees.
see some people actually doing that a lot and finding like cool things to make in the
Yeah.
woods. And maybe you're into like historical, how people used to do this. But in Australia too, like the Aborigine, those kind of people are. I'm not going to say they're living primitive like he is, but I feel like that type of historical thing. It's the same way in America. If we were like, how did the Native Americans used to live?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that'd be cool to go and build, like, replicate one of the fireplaces that they would have made or whatever. And I'd like to think there were people that did that, but then, like you said, people saw he's getting millions of views overnight.
That's one of the points I want to make about it is if you think about, because in their defense, when they do cut away, those blade marks are still on the walls.
Yeah.
What I think they do, this is what I think their process is. They've got a guy or two with a camera and maybe with a drone. It's probably like a Canon, like T, like whatever, T something, like a $400 camera,
Right.
which matters. No.
No, I don't know. You could have told me anything, but yeah.
And they're like, okay, dig for a minute. We'll speed it up, make it into 30 seconds. They cut. They have a like a village worth of people behind them. They come in. They all go at it. Because if you've got 20 people digging a hole, it's going to go a lot.
Or they
faster.
could have tools like.
And then they bring them out. They do another. They're setting up these shots, and they keep doing that until it's done. Now what's happening is these videos are getting 10, 20, 30, like sometimes 50 million views. And if you know anything about YouTube monetization, depending on the scale of your channel and the CPM that you get, 1 million views is about $2,000. It can be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. These accounts could potentially be like feeding hundreds, if not thousands of people that work for these channels. Because like if you say, okay, we're going to make this video, it's going to get 10 million views and we're going to make 20 grand off of it. Like we can pay all these people to show up and dig this fucking hole. Honestly, that's what I think about is like, what are they doing logistically here? Because there's no way they're fucking digging these holes by themselves.
It's pretty crazy. That I would really recommend watching the video that I sent you guys. It's
absolutely
10
will.
minutes. It's
Survival skills
it
primitive.
may be in the show notes. I'm sure it will be. But I mean, he talks a lot about those same people who are doing those fishing videos. Have you seen those ones where they like dig a hole and then the guy puts his hand in
Like catfishing?
and pulls out like a fucking fish?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that is, stuff that these guys are also doing, which, you see that on, I would see that on TikTok every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gus Johnson apparently did some shit where he like throws a rock in his underwear.
It's so funny. There was one point that I wanted to make about it, which this is what bothers me the most because I understand like making a YouTube channel and feeding your family from it. I think that that's great. It's the new age. You're digging fucking holes and making potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Good for you. Like the world is your fucking apple or whatever the saying is.
Oyster.
It's your apple. They are wasting so many resources and like deforesting these areas. Like, and if there's 100, 200 of these channels, they're cutting down a fuck ton of trees. They're digging a lot of holes that are not getting filled in. Like, I know that's ridiculous, but if you've got 100 of these channels, they're cutting down like 50, 100 bamboo trees to make this stupid fucking pool that they're gonna walk away from when they're done.
Yeah,
like
dude.
this is really like really not eco-friendly. Like, I think it's fucked when you think about it in that sense.
Yeah.
There's there's got to be 100 of these channels, and like, what are they doing to the wildlife? Like, there's a massive hole in the fucking forest the next day. It's like, great. I bet the wildlife fucking loves that. Like, what animals are they killing? What trees are they bringing down?
Well, dude,
Were
I mean,
there birds in the trees that they're bringing? This is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about how like the fishing thing is weird because like it's definitely like he's like it's definitely a dead fish and somebody holding their hand.
Oh, so
And so like you can see in this clip, he like gets down in
I'll
this
put
hole.
this on screen.
He gets down in this hole and you can see mud shoot out behind him. Like they dug a
Yeah.
hole
Like
there.
another hole.
Somebody held their hand in there because in the other shot you don't see that hole and you see the fish come out. It's only like 3 feet, so you could push a fish through there.
Yeah,
And when he pulls it out, it doesn't move at all.
yeah, the fish don't act like that.
Yeah, I've
when
seen
they-
real ones where the fish is.
Yeah, and I think there'd be a lot more thrashing than that because when you see how he just like pulls it up, there's like, and you can see him wiggle the fish, but
fishes definitely thrash around when they get pulled out of the water.
yeah. So I don't know. Again, I would definitely recommend taking a look at that.
I'm gonna
video
watch
'cause
that for
it's-
sure,
It's
and it'll be on screen and in the show notes.
I mean, I didn't love the guy who does it. I don't follow him or anything, but it was just interesting because I was wondering what the fuck happened to Primitive Technology because he's not uploaded since.
A year.
A year.
Yeah. Do you think I'm making any point with that? With like
Well,
the
yeah,
I
so,
hear
I
what
mean,
you're saying.
like, do you feel like after some amount of time, there's actually going to be some serious repercussions to that?
I will say yes, but also like at scale, sure. I mean, there's 100 channels if they upload a video a month, right?
It's
mean,
usually a
that's
video a week, if not a couple times.
Okay,
a week.
so let's give them, 52 weeks, right? And there's 100 of them. I mean, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's like 5,200 videos, right? So, okay, I mean, that's a ton. And they cut down, I don't know, 10 trees. That's 50,000 trees a video. That's not really what they're doing. But I mean, yeah, it adds up. But I also feel like if these people are spread out in different countries, like, is it really going to be huge? If they do it for like 10, 20 years, if people keep doing this, then sure. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's really. My problem is when you say deforestation, like they're out there fucking like mowing down entire forests.
I'm not saying
for
that,
lumber.
but,
No, I
like-
know. I'm just saying I don't think it's good. I mean, any video that's going out and chopping down trees for fun and not replanting them is dumb, and cutting holes into the ground. I don't, wherever they are, that there's wildlife. Maybe it's not going to fuck with them, but doing that kind of stuff is maybe not huge on like the grander scale, but if they're doing
Yeah.
this in their backyard or whatever in a forest near them and they cut down however many trees, dig holes, I mean, you know how it is. Trees are there and they help with runoff and stuff like that. That can get fucked up pretty quickly. It might be localized, but we don't want to see that.
Sometimes they're diverting like streams.
Yeah,
And that's when I'm like, just because I have a hard time believing that they are covering their tracks.
no, yeah,
I have a hard time believing they're coming in, refilling those holes, and actually using like it as firewood or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, man. It makes me. It's so egregious to me.
I don't
and
know
it's
that we'll ever
greedy.
know, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
all that
won't.
shit is happening in like Thailand, and I mean, other than fucking Primitive Technology, who was like doing it in his backyard. Like, I feel like a lot of that shit is in countries where they have an internet connection. They've figured out this method. They're gonna upload these videos. We're never gonna know the answer.
But until they don't make money anymore, and like I don't know, man. It
I mean,
it makes me it makes me sad because he's beat up about it, and they fucking ruined his content
Well,
style.
so I mean, bleep this out if you want, but it's capitalist as fuck, is what it is.
It's
like,
complete.
That's exactly what it is.
Dude. It's so greedy.
You
Like,
can bleep that out if we don't want to get political.
no, I
but
don't.
That's
fucking
exactly
care.
what
I
it is.
completely fucking agree.
It's just it's.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, dude,
It's
I
down
mean,
to
that is
you,
what. No, it
motherfucker.
is what it is. It's fucking. I mean, capitalism at work, baby. You know, they see something. There's demand. They fucking supply
Yeah,
that.
I thought it was
And
see
that's
something,
why
say something.
I
bud.
started with if they're feeding their families and
Yeah, sure.
like they've created a better lifestyle for themselves, then good. But there is natural repercussions to the things that they're
Yeah,
doing.
I mean,
And I
it's-
don't think that's talked about.
I don't have. Well, yeah. Two things I'll say. I don't have an example, but this is the classic. Like the mom and pop shop gets fucked up by soon everybody starts doing whatever they were, and now there's no reason to go to that person, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bummer for him. Most people would still rather watch him. It's different than a commodity. It's a content creator. We'd rather see him than go get the cheapest version or whatever. But then the other thing about ruining like deforestation and stuff, which I know you're not saying, oh, they're like destroying the Amazon, but that kind of thing is annoying when they're doing it just for money. Like you said, if they're not covering their tracks, they're not fixing it up, they're not going and filling in that hole, replanting trees. But at the same time, I do think I'm all for the fact that big companies push like you got to watch your gas mileage and your waste and stuff, when really like it's the industrial companies that need to
Yeah.
watch themselves,
No,
because nothing I do to
my carbon footprint is
Absolutely.
nowhere near
Yeah.
what
So-
Exxon's is.
Absolutely.
Right, so, I mean,
and they're
and-
like, you gotta recycle.
which
Come on.
every little bit helps, right? But it is that I'm not going to change the world by myself doing it. If everybody was on board, there'd be an impact. But
Yeah.
regardless, it's the same idea to me where, well, if they go in there in their backyard and they're cutting shit down, like, do I really
It's their
have any place
property,
to say?
yeah.
I mean, sure, but if they're going out and they're just fucking up a nearby forest with, like you said, a video every week, I mean, I don't know
It's
how
a
many
lot,
trees they
dude.
really cut
It's a
down. but
lot.
yeah.
You just go look up primitive.
I just don't.
And
I don't.
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to in post, I'm gonna go to YouTube and I'm gonna type in primitive and I'm gonna search by channel and I'm gonna put up screenshots of how many channels I find. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was over 100.
Yeah, I believe you.
And
Dude,
I
we
wouldn't
should
be
start one instead of this.
I wouldn't be
Primitive
surprised
debuffology.
if most of them were made by the same group of individuals, like, because they all have, dude, I'm telling you, as somebody who edits video, you can tell when somebody has a style, and these motherfuckers have a style, and they get like, they have one with a woman, they have one with two dudes that
Yeah, I mean, they all-
don't wear t-shirts, and they've got, the one, it's just one guy, and then dude, it's weird.
I trust you. I do also just feel like they could be copying the style too. I mean,
Yeah, it's just, dude, too many things line
yeah, I
up.
hear you.
Because if you've got 4 channels and every video you upload gets like 5 million views, why would you ever stop? Why would you ever
Yeah.
why would you not make another channel doing the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Because we just eat that shit up. And I'm the problem. I watch those videos. They help me fall asleep because they're dead quiet. Like, I don't watch them all the time, but like, because I watch them, I see all this shit, and I don't know.
It's
I know we
so
just spent
funny.
like a half hour on it, but like,
Well, no, it's just so funny to me because, like, again, I watched that video about him last year, like, and like it's creeped up to, because I've watched other videos because I watched primitive technology of people building a fucking pool underground
Yeah.
or whatever, and so it's just so funny to me that like it's infected you now and your fucking recommendations. And it was like 3 months where I could not escape that content on my recommended page.
Luckily I don't have it anymore, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was around the same time. I just didn't get that, but I just feel like I've never not seen anybody talk about it, and I wish I would have seen that video, but I don't know. It's capitalistic as fuck.
It was mostly an update on him, but also like talking about how many people fucking copied his idea, which sucks.
It's just like the 5-minute crafts. There's a million channels. They're all trying to be crafty or whatever, or life hacks.
Yeah, my mom
whatever.
said something the other day. She was like, "Yeah, I saw this on the internet. I don't remember what it was."
Always on Facebook seeing the
Yeah,
5-minute
so
crafts.
I was like, "Where did you read that, Mom? Or what 5-minute crafts?" And she was like, "No, I don't know." She named some other one. I was like,
some Russian fucking account.
yeah, I mean, some of those are okay, but it sucks when an idea is popular and then people just beat it to death.
Yeah, I don't know. We're
three
about
white-
an hour.
3 white guys around a
Three white
couple of
guys,
microphones.
Beat to death.
Yeah, but we're not like, fucking cutting down trees every time we post a fucking episode and
Yeah.
digging a huge fucking
all
hole
the
in
electricity it costs to run our podcast. I'm
So
sure we have
much,
some
dude.
sort of negative impact.
We
on
definitely
the
have a
environment.
footprint, but I don't know if it's hole in the ground footprint.